most of my life, I have always been atypical. And I think that kind of defines who I am. From it, from childhood, I didn't want to, aspire to be anything actually. My whole this thing was about getting out of home at 18 and going to some college, some course, something where I would feel like I was a part of something more. And uh, when I did my undergraduate, looking at the kind of work people were doing outside, pushed me towards ecology, and I was lucky enough to get admission for my master's in ecology in Pondicherry. This was one of the turning points, I would say, because this is where I met uh, uh, most of my friends uh, who have been with me for over 30 years. And we have been through a lot together when we were in college, and we kept in touch out of college. And the minute I finished my master's, the what then thing was suddenly an opportunity appeared in terms of running a camp for kids. And my friend and I got selected, and we started running these camps around Chennai for school kids for about a year. And during that time, I realized I wanted to do a PhD. And it was with great joy and happiness I decided to do a PhD in Utah in the United States, where people were like, why Utah? That's so different. It is a different type of place, and it is remote. What is so special about Utah? Why couldn't you join some other college? But I was happy because it seemed like a place that I would enjoy, being in the mountains and trying something different, trying something new. And that's where a second, major growth in me happened. And that growth was not of my intention, but it just happened. The first day I was at the university there, I was hit by a car. I just met another Indian student, Usha, at that time, and the secretary of the department decided that we need to go and get our social security cards. We had to cross at the traffic crossing to go across. There was some construction material, and so to go past that on the sidewalk and go. And I was unfortunate that a car driven by a 16-year-old who didn't see me hit me. And again, instead of being a 0 or 1 situation, that is 0 being dead and 1 being alive, I ended up in a 0.4, 0.5 scale, where I had a lot of pain from the injury, a little bit of concussion, but nothing more than that. And remember, this was my second day in the US, and I had just moved into the apartment in the university campus. Usha, the friend who now is a lifelong buddy and is a part of my buddy support group, had also come in the previous day. So both of us knew, hardly had spoken to her. And the next thing I remember, I'm in a hospital room, and then she is like, stay with me tonight and I will make sure you're okay. And again, being different, never thought to call my family in India and tell them I was in an accident. Instead, just told family in the US and said I was fine. And this is where I really don't know, I call them glimmers or whatever. It is not something that I'm looking forward to or looking, people say if you are optimistic and positive and you have these manifestations for positivity, good things will happen. Uh, well, the accident actually changed me a lot, but I would say it gave me a strength that I didn't have, and it gave me this attitude of there's always something around the corner. And you may call it blind positivity or whatever you want to call it. I don't call it anything because it seems surreal to me. So it is like within 2 days, I get a bill from the ambulance and the fire service that helped me get to the hospital, and the hospital charges. And as a student, I just had a basic insurance, and that was an international insurance, and I didn't know what to do. And I was asked to go to the university lawyer to talk about it. And as I was explaining to the lawyer, a gentleman knocks and comes in, and he is my hero. His name is Herm Olsen, and he is an advocate in Utah. And when he heard my story, he said, I'll take your case. And I'm like, I really don't have money. And he's like, don't worry. And this was my first impression of someone saying, don't worry, I'll take care of you. And someone whom I don't know. And this blind trusting of people is something that came right after the accident. In my naivety, yes, this blind trust has led to a lot of issues in my life, but I find that the gains are much more than what the losses are. And this was my introduction to Herm Olsen, who other than being a dear friend and a mentor, is one of the most wonderful person that I've ever met. And his family, I cannot stop saying enough about Norma, his wife, who helped me along with Herm to fix appointments to go and see the top neurologists in Utah, and being able to get a diagnosis called as chronic pain syndrome at that time, and get medication. And the neurologist, Dr. Weinstein, there saying, don't give up on your PhD, let's get you through your PhD, and worked with me with medication to help me through the pain and other symptoms that emerged from chronic pain syndrome, which now is complex regional pain syndrome, which is still very little understood, and it causes a lot of other things. I'll get to that later. But basically, it was my meeting with Herm and Norma that changed my entire outlook. A couple who looked and, made the amount of goodness in them to take in a stranger, help her through, make her feel a part of the family, and somehow get her to finish her PhD because she wanted to do it. And also work on my case and manage to get me a settlement. And this settlement is what has helped me financially to go through life so far. Today I'm 53. The accident happened when I was 25. Without her fighting for my case and helping me get to doctor appointments, and we also did some interesting side trips on his, when he had other work too. So it was just one of those meetings which led to me being part of a family. And Usha married Alan, and they have 2 kids. At that time, it was just Karuna, the older kid. The amount of love this couple gave me and helped me along is something I cannot quantify. Usha is part of my life still, and every time she comes to India, she does visit me, and I managed to go last year to the US and visit with her again. And in that visit, I must tell you, every time everyone says the accident defined you, yes, it did define me, it changed me in ways. And for a long time, I always thought by going past the place where the accident happened, I would have maybe a moment or some kind of divine or whatever, the universe sends a message. It ultimately was just a traffic stop. And that was what, you know, uh, made me feel different in that, you cannot define yourself just by your illness or what has happened to you. More, it is how you react to it. And that was my growth that I would say that happened in Utah, is accepting things were not perfect, but trying to make the most of it. I may sound like I'm coming out from one of those, leadership meetings or something, that will boost you up, but no, this is my life. And I would like to thank all the people who were there in the biology department and my mentors there, Dr. Brindley and Dr. Ted Evans, who was my professor there for my thesis. He was my main lead. We managed to convert a field project for a PhD into something which I never thought I would get into, math. I actually did a PhD using nonlinear differential equations. And 25 years back, when I finished it in 2004, I think I forgot about it. Now I can't remember, and I stare at my this thing, and I still don't remember what I've done. But as I said, just as I was finishing my PhD, again, a chance application to University of Florida got me a position of a research position there for my postdoc. And it was in University of Florida in Gainesville, where after a year I realized that I couldn't deal with heat. My body had changed. Maybe it was Utah and the cold was good, but my body wasn't doing well in